Do you find yourself always just going half of the way, never going all the way, never bringing something fully to fruition, never really giving everything to something? And that can be fine, right, with certain things, picking up different hobbies, trying different things, like, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, but no, I'm bored of that, so something else, whatever, like, that's cool. But when it comes to something more significant, something that we are trying to bring forth, right? Something that is important to us, and something that it is important to bring to fruition through ourselves, right? That which is our calling in some way, right? That which is our path to follow, that which does, you know, impel us to see something through fully. When we're meeting that block, then when we're only going half the way, when we're not giving our all, when we're not letting something come to full fruition and to be created as it wants to be created, then that's a different thing. Then that's more significant. Then there's more significant consequences to not addressing that, right? And to addressing essentially those blocks that we have within us. This is something I'm encountering a lot at the minute, and I'm trying to stay the course, trying to not just give up, trying to not just run away and go and do something else, go somewhere else. Like, can I stay the course with this one? Because this one is important to me and important on the grander scale, right? We all have our piece of the puzzle. We all have our part to play in this grand unfolding, right? And once you've connected to that and tapped into that and know that, okay, this is what I need to bring forth, it's very common that as you follow that path, you will meet those blocks, right, in different ways. That's something a lot of us experience and a lot of us struggle with for a long time, right? And it is a process. It's not something that's just, it's not a case of just recognizing it and maybe even understanding where that comes from, right? It's like you can understand where it comes from, right? For me at the minute, there's a few things blocking me, right? And there's the conscious kind of patterns of thinking, feeling, acting, right, that are getting in the way. But then underneath that, what's underneath that, right? One, the fear of failure, and obviously underlying that is like the fear of not receiving my father's love, right? Because it's not even the failure itself that we're fearing, right? It's like you could fail at something. It's like, well, cool, try again, keep going. Like it's not that we're actually kind of averse to that's creating this block, right? It's the feeling, right? And even the feeling of failure isn't, it's underneath that. It goes deeper than that, right? And these are obviously rooted in kind of childhood experiences that we all have generally growing up in this society, right? But what that means then, if you fail, if you don't do enough, if you don't meet the expectations of the father, right? And it might not necessarily be your father, but generally, right, the masculine principle, right, in the father, son, daughter dynamic. I'm not going to be loved. And of course, like that, when we're young, is everything. That's life, right? That's our whole existence. To not receive the love of the father or the mother is literally that's the end of the world, right? And so I think that speaks a lot to why these kind of underlying fears and wounds and beliefs carry so much. Because when they were formed, when they were created, and that is still what is manifesting and expressing through our kind of nervous systems now, right? It's like that's life or death. So we really don't want to meet that feeling. So we really don't want to put ourselves in the position where we might meet that feeling, right? And if you put yourself out there and you try and do these things and you try and follow your path, you're going to fail. You're going to have setbacks, shortcomings. You're gonna stumble, like especially if you go all in, right? And if you really set that out, it's like, this is what I want, I'm going to do it, right? You're setting yourself up for inevitable failure, and to you can't help but fall short along the way, right? That's how we grow. This is the lessons. This is part of the journey of it. But yeah, with that comes that resistance. And then of course there's also the fear of success, right? the fear of success of like, oh, what if I actually do that? And I think tied in with that, and this is something that I'm experiencing at the minute, is the belief, again, deep-seated belief, like underlying the kind of conscious experience I'm having. I know underneath that lies this thing of, I don't deserve to have what I want. I don't deserve to be living the life that I want, to be making money, doing exactly what I want to do. I don't deserve that. And so that's another big block. There's the invitation, right? There's the invitation to turn inwards, to open these things up, to open those processes up, that process of transmutation, that process which allows us to go beyond, because as I said, you can understand these things mentally, have a good grasp on that. I know that's what's happening. It doesn't change the reality. It takes, I don't know what it takes because I haven't done it, but I would imagine it takes an awful amount of like willpower to, act in spite of that, just that contraction, that which is trying to stop you doing that thing, right? It takes consciousness in that moment, and then I don't know, but I would imagine so much willpower, right? And I guess you can do it that way, but I think the most efficient way and the most kind of the way that is going to have the most lasting, significant impact is to go into the subconscious beliefs, right? And to start to shift those and go through the emotional processes that will be connected to that, like coming into contact with those feelings that you have feared for so long, right? I was coming to this just now, this feeling of like, why don't you love me, Dad, right? When we can open up and make space and build capacity to hold the original feelings, right, that we've buried for many years, and then built up these kind of patterns of behavior around just avoiding that core feeling of why don't you love me, Dad. When we can open ourselves up to just come into contact with that and hold that and feel that and move through that, that is one part of the process, I think, that helps us shift and transmute and start to shift those kind of, those deep-seated, deeply rooted beliefs and fears, right, that are causing these obstacles and this resistance that we feel, that we meet. And it's just bringing it close, setting the intention. This is how it works for me these days. I've been through many of these kind of processes, right? Recognizing like, oh, there's something here for me to look at, opening that up. I'm at a point where I can just say to myself, okay, I recognize this block is here. I can see what's underneath it. Let me now open that process up. Let me tap into those underlying feelings and work through that. And within a day, that will start to unfold, right? So earlier, just now, that all started to come up, and that feeling of like, why don't you love me, Dad? And so just let the process take care of itself, right? Set that intention, make space for that, create intentional space for that to move, and it'll take care of itself. I've been through enough of these processes to know it'll take care of itself, right? As long as you're open, willing, making space. And we'll get through it. We'll overcome, and we will go all the way. We will give all to something, and we will see something come to full fruition, which is exciting. It's a long time coming, addressing this block. Like, I've known that it's there for a while, but haven't kind of, for whatever reason, just haven't set about intentionally opening that up within myself and going into that and working through that. The time has come now for me to do that. Maybe you're in a similar situation, tired, right, of not going all the way, not living exactly how you want to live, not bringing forth what you know you can bring forth. Perhaps now is the time. Enjoy the ride.